The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Straight ahead on this edition of Perspectives, we go front and center with the issue of 200 Nigerian girls kidnapped. Questions still remain unanswered. We go front and center addressing the issue of who is Boko Haram and what exactly are they? What do they want? And can their demands be met? That's front and center on this edition of Perspectives with yours truly, Darren Hyman.
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective which shines a light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life. What's your perspective?
And hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I am Darren Hyme. On April 17th, the Islamic terrorist group, Nigerian Islamic terrorist group Boko Haram entered into a school in Chibok, taking 276 young ladies captive. And this question still remains unanswered. Why? As the world now continues to ask, let's try it again, please. I'm sorry. We're going to start again. It's on me. Yeah. My bad.
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your difference in someone else's life. What's your perspective?
And hello, welcome to Perspectives. On April 14th, Nigerian Boko Haram militants stormed into a school, kidnapping 276 young girls. 76 approximately escaped, leaving about 200 still in the hands of captors. The question is asked, who exactly is Boko Haram? What exactly do they want? And whether or not these young girls can be returned back. A national movement, a world movement has been erupting, calling Bring Our Girls Back. Joining us now in studio, Sheikh Musa Drame, who is a frequent guest here at the show. Sheikh, thank you for joining us. And usually we talk about a lot of things that are political, of political discussion. Nothing more of a greater discussion than when you see the images of these young ladies who've been taken captive by what we know as, quote unquote, Boko Haram. Yeah. Let's go in depth for a second. For somebody who doesn't know who Boko Haram is, who exactly are they?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It is always good to be here at this particular time talking about issues such as this. In a lot of times we miss the target by mischaracterizing the situation. When you say Boko Haram and people translate it to mean Western education, no good. So the whole world is now saying there's a group of people who are saying Western education is no good. But Boko Haram's name is not Boko Haram. That is a Western titled group.
We've given that name.
You're given that name. The name is Jama'atu Ahlus Sunnah li Dahwa wa Jihad, meaning an organization of traditional Muslims who propagate and defend Islam. Now, when you put the two, they don't mix. Boko Haram, Western education, no good. The other one said, we are propagating our religion and we're defending it. And that term includes me. Boko Haram doesn't include me. That's number one. Number two, we have to go back to the base, which is Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda in Arabic language means the base. Bin Laden himself once stated, if you confine this movement into one term associated with one person, you miss the boat. Boko Haram is a base. We are a nation. Our leader is Prophet Muhammad, and we believe in God. Now, today, from 2001 until now, you have so many outlets all over the world that connect to the base. It's the power source.
So they're connected to Al-Qaeda?
Well, because the ideology is the same.
Okay.
The rhetoric is the same. Now, one of the things that Bin Laden also said, he said, we are a group of believers, we are brothers, regardless of color, creed, or ethnicity. We are brothers. Now, a lot of times when you come up with a system that embraces everybody, you are easier to reach the majority of the Muslim world. For example, before I come back to Boko Haram, let's go to Somalia, which dominated the Western media long before Boko Haram. Al-Shabaab, the name Al-Shabaab, is Harakatul Sabab al-Mujahid, or Mujahideen, meaning that, the movement of the striving youth. You look at Somalia, over 60% of the 10 million population of the country is under the age of 25. Now you have a movement of the striving youth. The youth is neglected, not educated, they don't have anything. Now these are the group of people who defend them, tell them how good they are, provide shelter for them, provide everything. That's why nothing can stop it. It's a virus. Now the West is Al-Shabaab. What is Al-Shabaab? It's a terrorist organization. You legitimize them, but there is a real cause for what they're championing, and there is a market for their recruitment. Now you come to Boko Haram, it's the same exact thing. These are a group of individuals who are very charismatic and operating out of a country that has consistently been ranked among the most corrupt nation on the face of the earth. So there's a ton of individuals who connect to the message. So now if we continue to say Boko Haram, we will miss the target.
So this particular group, who we know to be Boko Haram, I can't pronounce the full name, I'll leave it to you. You tell us what exactly is the message that they're trying to get in kidnapping these young ladies. What message that they want? Because we know that they want their prisoners freed, but is there more?
There are a lot more. Number one, now they're finally getting what they always wanted, attention, legitimized. Anytime the Western government labels any movement a terrorist organization, you legitimize them. That is where they have now their diploma. They have arrived, is they have been met. Number two, these girls have been kidnapped. They're being held against their captive. But the last year alone, over 1,500 innocent souls have been snatched by the same group. Nobody say anything. The Nigerian government, Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa, the most powerful country in Africa, recently rated the #1 economy in Africa. They are not unable to stop any movement within it. There is a reason why these people not only are surviving, but thriving. Now, my concern is this. If we're not careful, we will create more so-called Boko Harams, not only in Nigeria, but all the other regions, to a point where we become another Middle East or Southeast Asia. I gave you 3 things in the other segment that we must do in order to stem the rise of these fundamentalist groups.
And I want to go back to that in a few seconds, but I want to ask you this question, and it kind of bothers me to even have to ask it now, but when you said it, it kind of scared me very much so. that when we talked about Boko Haram and I asked you about the young ladies, you said to me that this kidnapping is the least
of what they have done.
Of what they've done.
These people will go to a church, at the church service. These are people who go there to worship their God, and they bomb them. They don't care whether man or woman, a child die. Now, the problem comes from when you're going to attack them by not knowing who they are. Now you legitimize them. Okay, you said, come, open your book. Find me a code that says you can go to a church and bomb them. Fine. Not a single one of them can do it. But if you now going to confront them, they will continue. And that has been the case. What we need to do is we need to associate with individuals that can communicate culturally, linguistically, and religiously, and empower them. Now, I'll give you an example. Again, here in New York City, 2 years ago, a mosque, or not a mosque, a center was being built. And later on, the Republicans coined it Ground Zero Mosque. Now, the two individuals behind that center was, the owner of the building was American-born. The parents come from Africa and Europe. He has absolutely no connection to any fundamentalist. I know him long time. I sat down with him in many times discussing about this project, long before this. Now, the imam that he associated with is Faisal Abdurraouf. Faisal Abdurraouf is the most liberal Islamic scholar that you can find. He is probably one of the best assets the West has, who can bridge the gap between the cultural and linguistic differences between the Arab world and the West. But guess what? These people went through all the legitimate channels. They went to community boards. They filed every paper, and everybody appreciated the program until Pamela Geller came and completely tarnished not only their reputation, but change everything, change the message of what these people, the intention, and make Ground Zero as an insult to the victims of 9/11, and which was the opposite of what these people intended to do. Now, what we need to do is whenever we fight these terrorists, we must never ever associate with the elements of anti-Islam, because the more you embrace anti-Islamic movements to fight terrorists, the more you allow them to recruit more. And this is exactly what is happening, unfortunately, these days.
Coming back after the break, we're going to talk about, can Boko Haram be brought down? The United States, as well as other allied nations, in the fight to try to rescue these girls. Can they be brought down? We'll talk to the Sheikh after that. About that, I should say, when we return.
Watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And Shelter Pets makes super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a Shelter Pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything...
It is I, Cruz Zinkelpel. Okay, time for cake.
It's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables to speak on.
Continuing our conversation, talking about Boko Haram and the kidnapping of more than 200 Nigerian girls. Now, a recent YouTube video came out talking about Boko Haram and the fact of these girls being kidnapped, and a leader was shown, and as he was shown, this is what he was quoted as saying: "All I'm saying is that if you want us to release the girls that we have kidnapped, those who have not accepted Islam will be treated as the Prophet Muhammad treated infidels, and they will stay with us," he said, according to a translation of his words that was spoken in the Nigerian language. Sheikh, how do you, what are we to make of this?
Well, again, that is a classic example of how erroneous, these statements or these positions are. How Prophet Muhammad treated infidels. Number one, let's go. If you open Quran, you open the book, you go to chapter 10, verse 99. God is telling Prophet Muhammad, you can never ever force anybody to accept your way of life or your beliefs or your religion. You can never do it. That is not your job. You are a man. You are a human being. You come, you live, you die. It is my job to make a person what that person be, whether it's a Muslim, Christian, or whatever. So that's not Prophet Muhammad's job. It's not Boko Haram's job. It's not anybody. That's number one. Number two, how Prophet Muhammad treated infidels. Prophet Muhammad, if you read about the start of Islam, the first constitution in the world that incorporates every single soul came out of the Muslim hands. And this is what they call the Medina Constitution, where Prophet Muhammad said, we are here as a new community. There is established Christian community, there is established Jewish community, there are infidel Arabs, but they all have rights and we should never ever infringe upon it. You cannot kill them, you cannot hurt them, you cannot take their property, you cannot do anything. Now, since we are now a nation of diverse beliefs, we have to come to the common terms and work on the things that mutually benefit us. Nobody gets hurt. That was the Constitution and still applicable. So Boko Haram cannot redefine what Islam is or misinterpret the position of, of Prophet Muhammad, whatever. That is the statement that coming out of anti-Islamic elements. But it should never ever come from a mouth of anybody who knows anything about Islam.
Now, Nigeria has deployed 2 army divisions to hunt for the girls. 7 countries have also been included in it, including the United States, Britain, Israel, and France, offering their help, also sending expertise. I guess the question that needs to be asked is, given the fact that you have all this worldwide support, can Boko Haram, as we know it, be taken down, and can these girls be retrieved?
They can only be taken down based on 4 things, which I told you before. Number one, we must always be truthful about whatever we do. If we send our sons and daughters to fight for any war, it must be just and it must be based on truth. Nothing hidden, nothing mischaracterized. And unfortunately, in the last century, we have been lied to left and right. People send military to fight wars based on lie. As long as we're fighting based on lie, we cannot stop Boko Haram. Number 2, we must accept the sovereignty of other nations. Obama cannot bomb his way out of submission for these virus, terrorist elements. The more they bomb and they send drones to target individuals, in the process killing innocent people, the more market that open up to these terrorists. These are charismatic individuals who watch all shows, know all the programming code. They know how the West think. They know who's controlling who. We have to differentiate ourselves from that. Number 3, we must always avoid, again, associating with the elements of anti-Islamic movements in order to fight this so-called terrorism. Finally, we must also open the channel of debate. What I mean by channel of debate, a couple of days ago, you saw on a national TV, internationally broadcast, Sam, this football player, case his boyfriend. Now, we must have a debate because the last time that I know about America, this is a Christian nation, and the newer conservatives call it Judeo-Christian nation. If this is a Judeo-Christian nation, then the religious community must be given the opportunity to have a debate about the movement of homosexuality nowadays. But anybody that said anything will completely be punished immediately. So it's only one-sided. Same thing with fighting terrorism. Any Muslim that talk about the legitimate causes of what these so-called terrorist champions will be deemed, the sympathizer, or will be deemed, the lovers of terrorism. It is not. I get threats every single day. I get physical threats.
Because you're assumed to be?
I'm assumed by them to be a hypocrite. How can I be a Muslim and love the so-called great devil? And as a hypocrite in Islam, meaning that my punishment is worse than the devil, even the great ones. And that is what I am labeled. And there are millions of people like me who have absolutely, positively nothing to do with the ideology being peddled, which is anti-Islam, which is erroneous, which is anti-common sense. But yet, we can't talk. Number one, we are not given platform. Number two, if we say anything that is truthful about the fundamental principles of the reason why these people are fighting, we're deemed, we're legitimate their cause. This is a problem. Now, finally, May 19th, today is the 14th, in the next 5 days, our school is part of a program called the Interfaith Living Museum, which so far has graduated almost 1,000 youth from Christian background, Muslim background, Jewish background. We're going to be at the Holocaust Memorial Museum. Every year we invite the media to come and see the Arab families embracing the Jewish families who embrace the Christian families. No media is interested. Now, 3 years ago, the graduation was, I think, May 19th again. And May 20th, 4 African-American converts to Islam was caught, according to what they said, trying to bomb synagogue in Riverdale. Now the media came and grouped in front of my mosque when I talked to them. And I said, I'm not talking to any one of you, because yesterday we graduated the Interfaith Living Museum, 100 kids from the Jewish background, Christian background, Muslim background. You were not interested. Now you want me to talk about this is a criminal thing. I have nothing to do with criminal elements within the Islamic society. I have everything to do with promoting peace and promoting legitimate causes within the Islamic world. And they're not interested. So we have to have open debate. We have to be truthful, and we have to respect the sovereignty. And if the West wants to fight Al-Shabaab and Boko Haram and Al-Qaeda in Maghreb, they must respect the African Union. They must always put African Union before anything, because if you begin to go and bomb Africa, the Africans, in most cases, will say, these colonizers are coming back, and they have absolutely no interest in empowering us, because before what they did was to steal our resources, enslave our people, and divide our families. We can't trust them. There is not a single African community that trusts the West to come and do anything. If they want to do anything good, they must go through the African Union and legitimize African Union and continue to, to stop sabotaging the African Union, because they do not want the unification of African continent, which is a great, great cause now to a lot of these youth. They want to see their parents coming together, regardless of ethnicity or language or religion. But the West want to continue to divide so that they can continue to steal the resources. That's why you have all these Boko Haram and Al-Shabaab and all these terroristic organizations with a legitimate cause.
In a quick answer for him, can we see this end positively?
If we do the 4 things that I said, being truthful, respecting sovereignty, not associating with Islamic elements, and have open debate, yes, we are, because there are millions of people like me who can take care of a lot of things. I am here in New York. I run 2 interfaith programs. Today, my mosque is right next to a synagogue. First, I believe, in the world. The masjid is here, the synagogue is here. This is a message people need to know. I don't throw any drone, but thousands of people are getting the message that yes, Muslims can coexist with the Jews and Christians and atheists and everybody else, but we must have an open debate, an open dialogue.
All right, we'll take a quick break and come back and get some final comments from Sheikh Musa Drame when we return right here on Perspectives right after this.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And Shelter Pets makes super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a Shelter Pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Maybe he's really focused.
Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
Picking up our conversation with some final comments from Sheikh Musa Drame. So, Sheikh, as we get ready to close things down, I want to get a thought from you as to what is the best approach right now? Because we've got a whole lot of different approaches in terms of dealing with the situation. You've got worldwide pressure. What is the best approach? Are these signs bring our girls back? Are they even? Is that even making any dent in their mind?
Well, it makes a lot of dent because it mobilizes the global movement to condemn it, but on the western side. But on the eastern side, it allows these terrorists to recruit more people. Because every time you do things, they have already predicted what would happen. Because these are individuals who are highly educated, who are highly cognizant of the West's position about different things, and they predict all of it. Now, I'm not minimizing, the cost of mobilizing the world. I'm just saying that since 9/11, all these outlets have been born. All of them, where it is, you name it. From Al-Qaeda, the best, now every single day there's a movement. And before you know, there is a new movement, anti-drone, born out of the Muslim world, anti-this, anti-that. Whether you're talking about Algeria, whether you're talking about Libya, whether you're talking about Iraq. Today, if you go to Libya, Gaddafi was able to use his military might to keep the country in check. Saddam Hussein was able to do it in Iraq. And Afghanistan, the Taliban were able to keep everything in check. But now we're there, creating more mess, have less result, more deaths, less democratic, more dangerous, because everything is out. All I'm saying is that we must know who we're dealing with. And we must never ever be misled by anti-Islamic elements that have always hijacked the real cause of defeating terrorism. Because these people, they are more harmful even to Muslims than to anybody else.